Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. We're here today I saw two films. The first film I saw had quite a bit of audience, to its credit. It's a horror film. It's somewhat of an urban environment, you might say, that I'm living in. And so horror films always do well on opening day in this vicinity. The kids come out to see the horror films. They like the horror films. And this one, titled Megan, seemed to be a crowd pleaser. The audience that I was in this film with, and typically when I go to the movies, there's not many people in the fucking theaters. I typically go at off times, and I kind of counter-program. I go to movies that I know aren't going to have big crowds, and I kind of thought today that might be a thing, because it was a 6 o'clock screening of Megan on the opening day of it. But guess what? The audience was pretty well there. Like, a lot of people were there to see this movie, and they were very responsive, and not in an obnoxious way, but just there were moments of subtle humor and so forth throughout this horror film, and the audience kind of got it. So they were into it, which is a good sign for the film. We'll have legs. People might see this more than once, or something that they'll watch at home, or they'll tell their friends and so forth. So what did I fucking think? Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I will be honest. I had this big serving of ice cream before I went to the movie, and so the sugar probably caught up to me, and I fucking got all tired. So I was kind of dozing off in the first 20 minutes, which is okay, because it was kind of a slow build. Should you see the movie or not? I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. For a horror film, I give it, about the same, 3.5 out of 5, but definitely seeable, and I would see a sequel if they made it. So 3.5. It's a good rating. What I say is the weak points of this film, just maybe originality. Basically you have to tip your hat or your skull cap, in my case, to Child's Play, the Chucky character. We've seen stuff like this before, where there's an evil doll that's possessed, even Annabelle to an extent, although this is quite different. Megan is more of an AI, artificial intelligence creation. What happens when you try to fabricate a friend out of computer parts and so forth. And so we've seen that theme before. Spoilers, okay? We've also seen the theme of dead parents before, which we see early in this film for this poor little girl. She's being raised by her aunt after her parents get killed in a tragic car accident. 2 movies I saw today, Megan and Otto, they both had tragic car accidents. Which, no offense to anyone that's had anyone in their lives die in a tragic car accident. I've experienced that, but it's kind of like the easiest thing in a movie to how to fucking kill some characters. Just have them die in a tragic car accident. You know what I mean? It's just it's a nice, quick death. We can all relate to it. There's no suffering. You just die in a tragic car accident, which, actually in the Auto movie, it's not a... Well, I won't ruin it for you. Watch my Auto review if you want. But yeah, the tragic car accident theme, or mantra, if it were, Messier Mantra, another show you can watch on my subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. But you can see all these wonderful things, all these wonderful elements in this horror film. The displaced kid with the dead parents, the aunt who's a career woman, but now she's suddenly a de facto single mother. The greedy, scientist, corporation owner, shades of the Terminator franchise, the Skylab or whatever the fuck, the Tech Lab. So a lot of, not to say cliches, but a lot of tropes, as it were, in this film that we've seen in other horror films, which, like I said, that's probably why I'm not giving it a 4 or a 5 rating. It's not because there's anything wrong with this movie. It's just a lot of the shit in here we've seen in other things. I mean, I think you'd have a really interesting, comparing this to Child's Play, the original from back in the 80s, or even the one from 5 or 6 years ago. Compare that to this. Obviously, the the creature, the cyborg, so to speak, of Megan is much more advanced than Chucky, but kind of the same gimmick, you know what I mean? So, so on and so forth. I liked the movie. I thought the acting was pretty good. I mean, it's not, you know, Ashley Judd, Meryl Streep type acting in this film. It's not Sybil Shepherd, whose son I played in Hard Luck, okay? But it's a good movie. It's a crowd pleaser. It's definitely a horror film. Sometimes I make these statements, okay, that if you're a horror film fan, you should see a movie, but if you're a bit squeamish, you shouldn't. This one, I think, I mean, some people might have an issue with it, but I think for the most part, even if you're not a big horror fan, you could see this movie. It's not like there's some of these movies, Pearl and you know, that are kind of more violent. This one's not so bad. As far as the body count or the blood count or the kills or whatever you want to call it, the squeamish factor. So I think if you're a typical human being, unless you're super duper sensitive, you could probably see this movie, even if other horror films give you the willies with the blood factor. I think this one's okay for most people. I think, you know what I mean? It's not like this is not gratuitous. Yes, there is violence. Yes, there is death. But it's not like some of these very violent horror films that have been coming out for the last 20 years. I blame it all on Saw and Hostel. So that's it. I'm looking for an eyeglass cleaner so I can properly clean my eyeglasses. I see that my fucking glasses are all teary-eyed because I saw Auto, which was such an emotional movie. Yes, I saw a double header today. I saw Megan, and then I saw Auto. So it was Hanks and horror. Look at this, a fucking Sony Walkman, pretty badass. I've been watching Cobra Kai Season 5. I'm almost at the end of it. I will soon be ending it and giving you my review. I did burn through Season 1 and 2 of The Morning Show, which I quite enjoyed. Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, kind of an underrated hot woman. I don't know if she's underrated, but she's just very good. I like Reese Witherspoon, okay. And Jennifer Aniston, who's, you know, it's kind of fun to watch her in a fucking TV show because you still see, what was her name on Friends? Carol or whatever the fuck, or Phoebe, or she wasn't Phoebe, she was, God damn it, what was Jennifer Aniston's character on Friends? Oh, God, for Christ's sake. What was it? It was Chandler and Ross and Phoebe, and who did Courtney Cox play? Holy God. And who did Jennifer Aniston play? And then there was Tony or Matt, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't remember their names. But, God, what was her name on that show? It wasn't Jennifer. It was something else. For Christ's sake. Okay, folks, so that's it. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Yes, if you haven't already, you can buy my goddamn books. Go to the upper right corner of my YouTube channel, and there's links to my books. Or if you really want to be sexy, go to MikeMessier.com and scroll down. You can see all 6 titles that I've released. Click on them and buy them, okay? Just don't think about it. Actually execute the plan of buying my fucking book. And what else? That's it. So goodbye. It's a Thursday night. Tomorrow's a Friday morning. And we'll all do things with our lives that are spectacular, and thoughts and prayers. Excuse me. My goddamn nose. And that's it. See the fucking movie.